everyone, my name is Alexa and you are watching Hello Perfect TV, the place where we are redefining perfection and inspiring you to accomplish your dreams. And today we are talking with a featured dreamcatcher. Her name is Shannon McNamara and she founded the company Share in 2008 when she was only 15 years old. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
I know, I'm so excited to be talking with you because I'm a huge fan of your nonprofit that you started and the entire mission behind it. So just tell us about it.
Sure. So Share in Africa, it's a nonprofit organization that I started in 2008 when I was 15 years old. And the goal of the nonprofit is all about empowering girls in Tanzania through education. And Share started at first as kind of an after-school reading program. We had donated some books down to some schools, created some libraries out of old classrooms in these 4 schools. And at first it was just an idea to kind of have these libraries that any student, any teacher, any friend could use in the classroom, and then to host an after-school reading program so that way the girls in the school could kind of get a leg up on the boys just because there's such gender inequality in the area in Tanzania that we work. And after school, the girls just have to cook, clean, fetch firewood, water, take care of their siblings, things like that, where the boys are the ones who are encouraged to study. So it started just as the after-school reading program. We had built 4 libraries. We had donated over 36,000 books. And now we've expanded it to include other projects. We've brought electricity into all of the schools. We had a pen pal program. And now the 2 major programs that we're focusing on are the Share Scholars, a scholarship program to keep girls in school, delay child marriage, extend their education, and also something that we call Tech Tanzania, which is our technology initiative, which is to bring internet access into the schools so that way these girls can compete not just on a village-to-village kind of basis, but on a global basis. And they can use Wikipedia, Khan Academy, the same resources that you and I use. So that's what we're focusing on now.
Wow, so that's a lot to do since you're 15 years old. You've definitely accomplished way more than a lot of people. So what inspired you to start this company?
Well, I really owe a lot of it to my parents. I have an older brother and an older sister, and when we were growing up, our family traveled a lot, and my parents always told us that we won the birth lottery in life just by being born here in America. And you always see those things on TV, specials, and talking about poverty all over the world, and how some people walk miles to school in their bare feet, things like that. And my parents would always make sure that we knew, hey, that could be you guys walking to school. It's just because you happen to be born in one place and not another, and that's the reason why, you're so privileged. So we started a tradition of family international summer volunteer trips. So my friends would be going on cruises into Disney World, and at first I didn't like these volunteer trips because I wanted to be going on cruises, things like that. But we went to Peru, we went to Costa Rica, and that was kind of my first hands-on, in-depth going to the villages, meeting the local people, and volunteering internationally that way. So I really have to thank my parents for introducing
And when you say Costa Rica, you went into the real villages in Costa Rica versus, I mean, Costa Rica is a hot destination to go during the summer right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you definitely probably experienced something different than when I think of Costa Rica.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been places for, just for vacations too, things like that. But our parents, just the way that we traveled, they kind of realized when they were young that they didn't really get much out of vacationing when they interacted with the tourist industry and things like that. And you just get so much more out of a country when you can go inside of it, off the beaten path, talk to locals, things like that. So I have to thank them for teaching me that type of traveling too.
That's really, really cool. I really like when your parents said you won the was it lottery of birth or birth of
Yeah, the
lottery?
birth lottery.
Birth lottery because we, I mean, you don't realize how lucky you are in life until you don't have something. And that's when you realize, wow, I'm really grateful. So even if you like can see other people, I mean, we see like living in New York City, you see a bunch of people that are homeless. And although you do feel bad, you can't help out everyone. So you just walk by them. And then like you said, we hear all these things about all these kids that are living in poverty or living without education, yet we hate going to school and we complain about it. So I really think it's important to just know that we won a lottery by just being born here, and that's just an important message in itself, which I think is
Yeah.
really great lesson that every parent should teach.
Definitely. People have asked me, oh, when you come back, do you enjoy school more now that you know how hard these girls work for an education? I hate to say it, school still isn't my favorite thing. The late nights of studying and preparing, especially now in college, it can get pretty tedious. But I definitely am very appreciative of it, a lot more so after having done this. And it's amazing to see with your own eyes. I remember in 2008, the very first after-school reading program that we had, the girls had been reading for maybe 2 hours, and it was a 4-hour session, so we said maybe in the middle we had brought down jump ropes and donated kind of balls and things like that neighbors had dropped off. And we said, do you guys want to come outside? We can play with it. We can do some puzzles, take a break. And I remember they were kind of shy at that time, and they were polite, but they said, if you don't mind, we'd prefer to keep reading. And that was just amazing because that situation wouldn't exactly happen here in the States. And it was crazy just to see how determined they were to soak out like every inch of what they could, whatever was given to them. So that was just unbelievable to see.
Yeah, definitely. You would not have that happen when your teacher says, let's go out for recess. No, 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 I just want to keep on.
Yeah.
But so you founded this nonprofit when you were 15. How did you have that confidence and know that you can make this difference? Like, there's a lot of times when, I'll have an idea and I want to make this huge change in the world, but you don't even know where to start, let alone a lot of people don't believe that they can even make a mark. So how did you know to continue with this idea and that it would make a difference in people's lives?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It wasn't formed as an official 501c3 nonprofit until a year or two after. But I didn't really have any idea on how to create that when I was 15. But I learned about it after, and I know what you mean. And I think that one of the things that I hate is how people portray poverty and people in need and hunger, AIDS, all of these things, and they're portrayed as these things that are impossible to fix, and like no one's ever going to solve it. It's too huge of an issue. It exists everywhere, and I think that stops a lot of people from trying to make a difference because they think like, what could I do? And there's a Mother Teresa quote that is one of my favorites, especially when it comes to the attitude of volunteering. It says, if you can't feed 100 hungry children, then feed just one. And I think that kind of is what Share was founded on. I went into, on the plane ride to Tanzania, and I remember actually thinking, like, I'm probably not going to be able to do much. Maybe I'll change the course of the school by giving them some books, and then maybe a few more students will get higher test grades or something. But yeah, if you focus on just taking the smallest step, I mean, I thought that nothing would come of this in 2008. I thought it was just going to be another international trip, and then we would go to India or China the next year. And now we have thousands of students in the program, and it's just unbelievable to see how it's grown just with the help of other volunteers, donors and sponsors believing in us. And then, of course, I owe it all to the girls who just work so hard and use everything that we give them to the maximum that they could. So I think that it's definitely hard. You think that you can't make a difference, but if you believe strongly enough in something, there's definitely something you can do. And I don't think anyone should ever not take a chance because they don't think anything will come of it. I think it's always better to just try, and if you fail, then you fail, and then you try again. I'm very big on, failing and then getting back up.
Yes, of course. That's what every entrepreneur says, that you have to fail to learn, and that's with anything. But I think you made a really good point when you said that if you could just feed one person. So that's how I started as well. Not off that quote, but I came up with my own quote because I'm a very quote-driven person, and it was whether you make a difference in one person's life, in your community, or in the world, as long as you make a difference, you are perfect. And I always believe that as long as I make a difference in one person's life, it's all worth it. And I think a lot of people, like you said, stop because they look at this huge picture that's so overwhelming. And that's with everything. That's when you start and you want to write a book, you think about, oh my God, this is going to take forever. How am I going to get it done? But you just have to start. And the same with your to-do list. Like, start with one minimal task, and then sooner or later it just grows. Because if you look at the big picture of something that looks impossible, it will never be possible to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to touch that to everyone that's watching, that all you have to do is make a difference in one person's life, and it will just expand from there.
Yeah, definitely.
And in effect, you make a difference in your own life because you get that boost and you get that feel-good vibe, and that's very important to have.
Yeah, you get back so much when you give. They call it the helper's high, getting that, and it's just so true. I mean, yeah, every summer I've been down, I've just come back kind of a different person, and the girls have taught me so much. The experience has taught me so much. It's hard to view it as work when you get so much from it.
That's so awesome. So how can people get involved?
Yeah, there's lots of ways to get involved. If you just want to find out more, you can check out our website, sharonafrica.org, facebook.com/SharonAfrica. If you are at a high school, a middle school, or a college campus, you can form a campus chapter or a club. We have a bunch of them across the country right now. And then you can also host fundraising drives. And for $250, that's all it takes to put a girl in our scholarship program for a year, and share matches whatever you raise for that, and then you get to be sponsoring one girl for a year. You get a picture of her, you get letters from her, you get her report cards, videos, everything like that, and that's what we're focusing on now, because only, I think, 5% of girls in Tanzania graduate from secondary school, and that's just an extremely low number that we're trying to raise up, and I think scholarships are the number one way to do it.
That's awesome. I really like how you set it up, just because it makes it more personal. You know who you're helping versus just donating money and not knowing where it goes, which a lot of people don't like that. So there's tons of ways to get involved. Check out her website and read Shannon's story. It's very, very inspiring. And there's one more question I have to ask you, is what is your definition of perfect?
Ooh, wow. My definition of perfect. I think that to be perfect, you have to be really honest and just true with yourself, whether that's being an honest person in the way you express yourself, being honest in the advice that you give people. I just think that the people in my life who I know and I would deem as perfect, and things that I would deem as perfect, are people who are just true, honest, a little bit vulnerable, and really authentic. So I think as long as you're true to yourself and you believe in everything that you say, you're perfect.
That's awesome. So also you can tweet and follow what Cher is doing at Sharon Africa on Twitter. And of course, continue the conversation at Hello Perfect on Twitter. And we will see you guys again. Thank you so much for talking with us, Shannon.
Thank you so much. It was great.